Well, summer heats up, so does the buzz. Flies are a common annoyance this time of year, but one family in Highfill says this is out of control.
Yeah, Laura Castleman spoke with a homeowner who says her dream home has turned into a fly-infested nightmare.
Yes, Diane Ivins and her husband Roy Opitz moved here to Highfill from Van Buren in 2020. And they knew the implications of moving near a chicken farm, but what they did not expect was a massive invasion of flies.
And immediately the flies became massive. Before we even moved in, I came in and the floors were covered with flies because they don't have a very long life.
Diane's husband Roy says they understood the potential challenges of living close to a chicken farm, but says now this situation is too much to handle.
I would have never bought this property. Speaking to other neighbors and finding out that they had problems with, extreme amount of flies, and we talked to one lady back here behind us who's probably about as close to that big house as we are to the ones across the street. And she said, oh, they're just horrible. We saw them over there. They were all over her house, her door. And she says, I've got a newborn baby and I have to keep it, a net over it all the time to keep the flies off the baby.
Diane says she and Roy have had to get creative to keep the flies off and out.
I use my fly gun a lot to get rid of them. We buy the bags that we hang out along our fence all the way around the house that has a death smell to it, so it draws the flies in. And it's not fun because you go outside and you smell it, but if it gets the flies, that's great. I had new glass doors put on the house.
Diane says she reached out to Tyson about the flies when they first moved in and did receive a letter in response.
This was in November of 2020, and they were pretty good about coming out right away. They put some kind of larva product in with the chicken houses, killed the larvae so that we didn't have as many flies, and they were trying to control it that way. That worked for maybe 4 to 6 months, and then they came back.
I did reach out to Tyson and Simmons Food for a statement, but we have not heard back from them so far. As for Diane, learning more about the flies has not brought her much comfort.
I read online that literally, and this is terrible to say, but they poop or puke every time they land. And you see the stuff on the outside of my house.
Dr. Emily McDermott, an assistant professor of medical and veterinary etymology with the University of Arkansas, who explained why fly populations can thrive near poultry farms and what can be done to manage them more effectively.
Covering garbage cans or removing, trash dumpsters and things, if it's coming from livestock habitats. In some cases, manure management is a solution for reducing fly populations, making sure that manure is drying out quickly enough that it's not going to be really attractive to flies. They need wet and moist habitats in order to survive. So if that, manure is being spread thinly and is drying out quickly, then it really shouldn't be a problem.
Dr. McDermott says that when the weather is warm, the flies are more likely to breed.
When habitat is good and the weather is warm, a few flies can turn into a lot of flies very quickly, sometimes even before you have the opportunity to really address where the problem is coming from.
I would just like for them to realize that if there is something they can do, and I firmly believe there is, that they do it no matter the cost.
Now, Diane and Roy both tell me that they understand you cannot completely get rid of the flies. They are just hoping for a solution to diminish the population. In Highfill, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.